He thinks we're getting a rate cut tomorrow. The market doesn't.
The market doesn't, and this is actually one of the less drama-filled meetings that we've had in a couple of months. You know, people largely expect the Fed to be on hold tomorrow, and if that happens, then the big question becomes, how long are they going to be on hold? So I think a lot of the press conference tomorrow with Chair Powell is going to be looking at the months to come. How long does the Fed think it will be on hold? Yeah. And how are they starting to think about some of these Trump policies that are starting to take shape?
Well, when you look at the composite of data we see recently, it's pretty hard to make the argument for a rate cut. Donald Trump is demanding one. What is this relationship going to be like?
Well, if it's anything like what it was like in his first term, we can expect a little bit of tension. And just in his first few days in office, we've already seen him say that he knows interest rates better than the Fed officials. Yeah, and we've already seen him say that if he disagrees with them on policy, he said, I'm going to make it known. So I think you're going to see Chair Powell get questions about what the relationship with Trump will be like and how they're thinking about some of these policies. But I think you're going to see Chair Powell try to stay above the fray and continue to talk about how the Fed is focused on its mission.
So he's got a job in this news conference tomorrow. We'll, of course, bring this to our viewers and listeners here on Bloomberg TV and radio. As part of our special coverage will be the news conference. The questions are going to be somewhat different here and geared toward Trump compared to anything that we've seen in recent memory. Does he have to kind of calibrate his response that way as well?
He's going to have to calibrate his response.
He's got an audience of one.
Yeah, what we heard him say at the last press conference was that, you know, in many ways it was too soon to know how the policy outlook for the Fed will be impacted by some of these Trump policies because the policies in many ways are still undefined. So that's going to be a question. But I think you're also going to see him I think you're going to have people paying close attention to what he's saying about inflation, because at the last press conference, he was very cautious about the inflation outlook. But since then, we've gotten some encouraging reports. I think people are going to be listening very closely to how he sees inflation evolving in the months to come and what that's going to mean for the possibility of rate cuts.
When the issue of tariffs comes up, he doesn't really have much to comment on. We haven't seen anything implemented.
That's right.
Where does Jay Powell fall on this, and how concerned is he about that being a reality?
I think you're going to see him continue to say what he's been saying, that they can't prejudge, right? They're going to wait for more details on the policy before they start to really talk about what that means for the policy outlook. That being said, there are some Fed officials who have said, look, tariffs, immigration, all of those things matter for the policy outlook. And so I am already incorporating some of the potential impacts of these policies into my forecast. But I think you're going to see Powell continue to try to walk a very careful line.